Lindsay, it feels like everyone and their mother is warning of a correction. We saw 5 down days last week, some softness, and cover of the Wall Street Journal has an article citing all the big banks, strategists, Deutsche Bank, Bank of America, warning of softness ahead. Is it getting to consensus that this is what's going to happen right now?
It might be getting a little bit too consensus. I mean, look, we haven't had a 5%, 10% pullback really this year, and usually see a couple of those every year. So people are a little bit nervous, and we're in the month of September, which is usually a seasonally weak period for the market anyway. So I guess it's natural to start thinking the worst is here. But I'm not so sure that's going to necessarily be the case. There's some really, I guess you can call them early smoke signals, positive smoke signals about what could happen towards the end of the year. Look, the 10-year yield is starting to turn around. That's a positive sign from an economic reporting perspective. Usually you start to see economic data turn around when that starts to turn. Remember, the 10 years was in a long downtrend since March. We saw OPEC come out today talking about how oil demand is going to be on the rise with increased travel next year. Travel on airline spending is potentially starting to turn around in some of the chase car data that you've looked at. There's just some really early signs. Don't forget, earnings is strong, the consumer is still strong, and corporations still have a lot of cash on their balance sheets. And oh, by the way, I know that the Fed is going to eventually become a little bit more loose with their policy, but right now they're still fully supportive of the market.
Lindsay, you've been looking at the sort of significance of the 50-day moving average as it relates to the S&P 500. What are your conclusions on that?
Yeah, I mean, the 50-day moving average has been a very durable line in the sand for the market this year. Really, every time that the market has crossed or touched the 50-day moving average, you've seen it bounce by about 1.4% or more. And within 5 days, the market is back to new record highs. And we've had a record number of record highs this year, too. So now there's no telling when we could break to the downside of the 50-day moving average. It's not going to forever be a concrete line in the sand. We do remain optimistic looking out into the remainder of the year for all the reasons that I just stated.